Hey everyone! Breaking news that could put more money in your pocket. The IRS has just announced they're rolling out $1,400 stimulus payments via preloaded debit cards to Social Security and SSDI recipients across all 50 states. If you've been anxiously waiting for your stimulus payment, this video is exactly what you need to watch right now. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss critical updates about stimulus payments and financial news that could impact your wallet. The long-awaited distribution of $1,400 stimulus payments is finally happening through a new method: preloaded debit cards. This is a game changer for millions of Americans who rely on Social Security and SSDI benefits. But you might be wondering, how exactly does this work? When will you receive your card? And what do you need to do to make sure you get your payment? Don't worry, I'm going to break down everything you need to know about these stimulus debit cards. Let's start with the basics. These Economic Impact Payment (EIP) cards, as the IRS calls them, are being mailed to eligible recipients who haven't yet received their third stimulus payment. The cards are being issued by MetaBank, which is the U.S. Treasury's financial agent, and they're being sent in plain white envelopes to prevent theft and fraud. But here's something crucial you need to know: these envelopes might look like junk mail, so you'll want to check your mail carefully in the coming weeks. Now, you might be asking yourself, why is the IRS choosing to send debit cards instead of direct deposits or paper checks? The answer is simple: efficiency and accessibility. Many Social Security and SSDI recipients don't have traditional bank accounts, making direct deposits impossible. And paper checks can take weeks to clear. These preloaded debit cards provide immediate access to funds and can be used anywhere that accepts Visa payments, including ATMs, stores, and online retailers. But here's where things get interesting: the distribution process isn't happening all at once. The IRS is rolling out these payments in waves, state by state, to ensure smooth processing and delivery. They're prioritizing states with the highest number of Social Security and SSDI recipients, but don't worry, every eligible recipient in all 50 states will receive their payment. The question is, when will your state's turn come? Let's talk about eligibility. To receive one of these preloaded debit cards, you must be a Social Security or SSDI recipient who qualifies for the third stimulus payment. This means your adjusted gross income must be $75,000 or less for single filers, or $150,000 or less for married couples filing jointly. The amount begins to phase out above these thresholds, and individuals making more than $80,000, or couples making more than $160,000, won't receive a payment. One crucial detail that many people are missing is that these debit cards come with some specific features and restrictions. For example, you can withdraw cash at ATMs, but there might be limits on how much you can withdraw per day. You can also transfer the money to your personal bank account if you prefer. However, there are some fees you should be aware of, like out-of-network ATM charges or international transaction fees. Here's something that might surprise you: these debit cards actually come with some built-in fraud protection features. If your card is lost or stolen, you're protected against unauthorized charges, and you can get a replacement card. But you need to activate your card and set up a PIN as soon as you receive it to ensure these protections are in place. Now, let's address a common concern: what if you've moved recently? The IRS is using the address they have on file for your Social Security or SSDI benefits. If you've moved and haven't updated your address with the Social Security Administration, you need to do that immediately. Otherwise, your card might be sent to your old address, causing delays or potential loss of your payment. But here's where things get really interesting: these debit cards aren't just a one-time use item. They're reloadable, which means if there are any future stimulus payments or government benefits, the IRS could potentially use the same card to distribute those funds. This could streamline the process for future payments and make it easier for recipients to access their money. Let's talk about timing. Many people are asking when exactly they'll receive their cards. The IRS has started the distribution process, but it could take several weeks for all eligible recipients to receive their cards. They're processing millions of payments, and they're doing it in batches to ensure accuracy and prevent system overload. The good news is that you can track your payment using the IRS's Get My Payment tool on their website. Something that's causing confusion for many people is the activation process. When you receive your card, you'll need to call a toll-free number to activate it and set up your PIN. You'll also need to verify some personal information for security purposes. Don't skip this step. Your card won't work until it's properly activated. Here's a critical point that not enough people are talking about. These debit cards can actually help you build your credit score. How? Well, if you use the card responsibly and keep track of your spending, it can demonstrate good financial management. While it's not a credit card, the usage patterns can still be beneficial for your overall financial health. Let's discuss some practical aspects of using these cards. You can use them to pay bills online, make purchases at stores, get cash back at retailers, or withdraw money at ATMs. You can even use them to shop online or pay for services through apps like PayPal or Venmo. The flexibility is quite impressive, but you need to be aware of any associated fees. One question that keeps coming up is whether these cards expire. Yes, they do have an expiration date, but don't panic, the funds themselves don't expire. If your card is approaching its expiration date and you still have money on it, you can request a replacement card or transfer the remaining balance to your bank account. Now, here's something important that many people overlook. You should keep the documentation that comes with your card. This includes the terms and conditions, fee schedule, and any other important information. You might need this information later, especially if you encounter any issues with the card or need to contact customer service. Let's talk about security. These cards come with chip technology and require a PIN for added protection. However, you should still take precautions to protect your card and PIN. Never share your PIN with anyone, and be cautious about using the card on unsecured websites or unfamiliar ATMs. Here's a pro tip: as soon as you receive your card, take a photo of both sides and store it securely. This way, if your card is lost or stolen, you'll have all the important information readily available to report it and request a replacement. Many people are asking about additional fees they might encounter. While basic services like making purchases and checking your balance are free, there might be fees for certain transactions like international purchases or using out-of-network ATMs. The key is to read the fee schedule carefully and plan your transactions accordingly. Something that's causing confusion is the difference between these EIP cards and regular debit cards from banks. These stimulus payment cards are specifically issued by the government through MetaBank, and while they function similarly to regular debit cards, they're not linked to a traditional bank account. Let's address another common concern: what happens if you accidentally throw away or destroy your card? Don't panic. You can contact MetaBank's customer service to report the card as lost or destroyed and request a replacement. However, there might be a fee for this service, so it's crucial to handle your card carefully when it arrives. Here's an interesting aspect that many people don't realize: these cards can actually be used to make purchases internationally. However, foreign transaction fees will apply, so it's important to be aware of these charges before using your card abroad. One question that frequently comes up is whether you can add money to these cards yourself. While they are technically reloadable, they're specifically designed for government payments. You cannot add your own money to the card, but as mentioned earlier, the government might use them for future payments. Let's talk about record keeping. It's important to keep track of your transactions and maintain records of your spending. The card issuer will provide monthly statements, but it's a good idea to keep your own records as well, especially for tax purposes. Something that's worth mentioning is the customer service support available for these cards. There's a dedicated phone line for cardholders who need assistance with activation, balance inquiries, or other issues. The service is available 24/7, which is particularly helpful for those who work unusual hours or live in different time zones. Here's a detail that often gets overlooked: these cards come with a mobile app that allows you to check your balance, view transactions, and locate ATMs. The app is free to download and can make managing your stimulus payment much more convenient. Let's discuss what happens if you don't use all the money right away. The funds will remain on the card until you use them, but remember that the card itself will eventually expire. It's generally better to either use the funds or transfer them to your bank account rather than letting them sit on the card for extended periods. One aspect that's particularly relevant for SSDI recipients is that these stimulus payments don't count as income for benefit purposes. This means receiving and using this payment won't affect your eligibility for SSDI or other government benefits. Now, let's address a common misconception. Some people think they need to pay taxes on these stimulus payments. The truth is, these payments are not taxable income. You don't need to report them on your tax return, but you should keep records of receiving the payment. Here's something interesting: the IRS has implemented a new system to track these card distributions more effectively than previous stimulus payments. This means you're less likely to experience delays or issues with receiving your payment. Let's talk about what to do if you suspect fraud or unauthorized transactions on your card. The first step is to contact the card issuer immediately. They have fraud protection services in place and can help you resolve any issues quickly. Something that's worth emphasizing is that these cards are being distributed regardless of immigration status. As long as you're a qualified Social Security or SSDI recipient, you're eligible for the payment, even if you're not a U.S. citizen. Now, here's a crucial point about timing. If you haven't received your card yet, don't assume you're not getting one. The distribution process is ongoing, and it might take several weeks for all eligible recipients to receive their cards. Let's wrap this up with some final thoughts. These preloaded debit cards represent a significant effort by the government to get stimulus payments to Social Security and SSDI recipients quickly and efficiently. While there might be some learning curve in using these cards, they offer a secure and flexible way to access your stimulus payment. Remember to stay vigilant about potential scams related to these stimulus payments. The IRS will never call, text, or email you asking for personal information about your card. If someone contacts you claiming to be from the IRS and asks for such information, it's likely a scam. That's everything you need to know about the new $1,400 stimulus payment debit cards being sent to Social Security and SSDI recipients. If you found this information helpful, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more updates on stimulus payments and financial news. Also, leave a comment below if you have any questions or if you've already received your card. We'd love to hear about your experience. Remember, staying informed about these payments is crucial, so make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.